Wellbeing Wednesday. Hi from Australia. Nice to have you with me, Louise. Gosh, is it what, very early or very late with you? Hello Facebook, hello YouTube. Nice to have everybody's company here back in my kitchen. I was just saying to my friends on Instagram here that the weather down here in the West Country has just been so weird. 1 minute, bright blue skies, sunshine, lovely spring day, you know, spring flowers, all of that. And the next minute, flipping snow. I mean, really, so cold, honestly. But there we go. That's why the English always talk about the weather, isn't it? Because there's always so much to say about it. Anyway, happy Wellbeing Wednesday. Now, firstly, big apologies to everybody who was kind of waiting to get the schedule and everything for my little mini-series on this morning. They went and ran it a day early. Oh, honestly, that's the thing with live TV, you know, schedules change all the time. So I thought it would be going out as planned today on a Wellbeing Wednesday, but no, I got a little message from my producer at like 10:30 yesterday saying, "Hi Liz, great news, film looks really good and it's going out in 10 minutes. It's like, okay, right. So I was like, dropped everything, scrambled to put up a little post on my Instagram stories. So it is now up on the ITV Hub, I think. So if you want to catch up with it, then please do. But I thought what I'd do today is, because yesterday's bit on this morning was all about some of my favourite things, kefir and making fermented drinks with turmeric, that kind of thing. So I thought I'd do a really quick recap for those who missed it, or for those who'd like to know a bit more about kefir. And interesting, it was picked up on the Daily Express. I got a little notification through on my email to say that there was a little thing on, I think it's the Express Online today. They've obviously been, you know, watching this morning and have just done this whole thing about, you know, why does Liz Earle love kefir so much? So I thought, well, I'm going to tell you why I love it so much. So I guess my journey with kefir and finding out all about it started maybe 6 years or so ago. I started researching this book, which is The Good Gut Guide, which was really one of the first books to be written for the consumer anyway, all about gut health. And it was because when I was doing all my magazine articles for Liz Earle Wellbeing, you know, almost everybody I spoke to started talking about the microbiome and about gut. I'd go and interview psychologists and psychiatrists about mental health, and they'll say, oh, well, it's all about the gut-brain connection and the neurotransmitters in the gut affecting mood and emotion. I was thinking, what? That sounds really weird. And then I talked to dermatologists about inflammatory skin issues, talking about eczema and rosacea, that kind of thing, or acne. And they'd say, well, of course, what we're really doing at the moment is researching everything that goes on in the gut, because it's all about inflammatory conditions within the gut. And then, of course, you've got the rise of the digestive issues themselves, IBS, you know, irritable bowel syndrome, IBD, leaky gut, acid reflux, indigestion, wind, you know, gastritis, all of that kind of thing, Crohn's disease, celiac, and all the kind of food intolerances that, you know, you go into the supermarket these days and it's all free from this and free from that, and don't have lactose and don't have gluten and don't have all of these things. And it's like, no, hold on a minute, that's not right. I know it's great for the food industry. They're making shed loads of cash from all this free from food, which costs so much and is so highly processed in so many cases. Actually, no, let's fix our gut. You know, if you suddenly become intolerant to something, the answer is not to just go and buy a load of food that's been processed and packaged without that thing. It's like thinking, well, let me fix my gut. So, you know, I always say it's like, you know, hitting your thumb with a hammer. The answer is not to keep applying plasters to fix it. It's let's put down the hammer and heal the thumb. So the same is with the gut. If suddenly you find that you know, you're becoming more sensitive to wheat and processed wheat in particular, with the modern strains of wheat flour that's used for gluten. I'm not talking celiac disease at all. I'm talking about intolerance rather than allergies. And the same with lactose and all of those things. Let's sort out the gut. So let's go back to the primary cause. And when in fact I was writing Good Gut Guide, I created a 6-week program which I worked on with various researchers. And so many people who followed that for the 6 weeks. It's really simple, really straightforward. It starts basically taking out some of the gut irritants and then putting back in the things that can help to soothe and heal the gut. So probiotics, and, you know, talk about some of the things that can help rebuild the super thin epithelial lining of the microbiome to help prevent all the breakages that can cause leaky gut, and to help improve the immune system and all of those things. So it's a very simple step-by-step 6-week process, and many people who've done this say that afterwards they can then start to have lactose again. They can start to tolerate little bits of wheat and maybe sourdough bread and all those different things. So for me, I think that's a far more effective way, you know, working holistically with the body, thinking about what it needs, and then fixing it. So anyway, so long story short, so Good Gut Guide was really my first sort of exploratory dive into the world of gut health and well-being, and since then it has just grown and grown and grown, and you know, it's just become, gut health is like so topical, isn't it? When we're talking about mental health, we realise that we create a lot of the serotonin, which is the happy brain chemical. We create that in our gut. So by looking after our gut and our gut microbes, we feel better. We physically feel better. We are producing more of those happy brain chemicals. We're reducing levels of inflammation. We're also sorting out digestive issues as well. So if that's something that affects you, then you might find that you really benefit from this. And then there's that massive link with the immune system. And of course, very front of mind, isn't it, at the moment? How do we keep our immune system strong? How do we better protect ourselves from fighting off all the bad bugs and viruses that are around us? And having a strong immune system is never more important than it is now. So for all those reasons, loving our gut bugs is where it's at, and one of the simplest things that we can do. You know me, if you've been following me for a long time, you know I'm not very good at giving stuff up. I like adding the good things in. It's much easier, it's much simpler, and it's much more enjoyable. So making things like kefir, I've got some kefir, actually I've got some in my fridge which I'll show you. So I've got different types of kefir, actually. This is one of my favourite brands here which I can show you, which I buy. So I buy kefir, I make kefir, you know, I do all sorts with kefir, and the reason for that is it's all about diversity. When you talk to anybody about gut health, it's all about having a diverse microbe. It's a microbiome rather, so it's lots and lots and lots of things. So it's like having a wildflower meadow, and you want to get as many different varieties as you can in there, really improve biodiversity. So I don't really like sticking with just one kind of kefir. I buy different versions, I mix and match. Some of the cheapest kefir you can find is in the Polish aisle in a supermarket, because Poland kind of runs on kefir, so much of Eastern Europe. It's just one of those, you know, daily regular things. Nobody even thinks about it. It's like, well, of course I drink kefir, you know. So you can normally find sort of big litre cartons of kefir really inexpensively. It's often got Polish writing on it. And that will have different strains of beneficial bacteria to some of the kefir that is fermented in the UK. So there are lots of different brands. I mean, one of the brands that I really like is this little brand here called Nourish Kefir. I think we might have Martha, by the way, with us on Facebook. Are you in the house, Martha? Martha is an editorial assistant on Earle Wellbeing, super smart, really clever girl, and is manning Facebook for us today. So hi, Martha. Can you find a link, because on Facebook we can obviously put links up, but there is a link, you'll find it on Earle Wellbeing website as well, but there was an early podcast I did back in the day with the founder of Nourish Kefir called Deborah Carr, I think she is, and she had Crohn's really badly. She was a top city high flyer, she was, you know, living a very stressful life, got totally burnt out, was doing what she thought was healthy, in that, you know, she was eating low-fat yogurts and drinking Diet Coke, thinking that that was the kind of the way ahead. Hopefully, I think all of us know that is not the way ahead. So anyway, she was unfortunately in bed for about 2 years with Crohn's, really crippled with it. And it wasn't until a Polish friend visited her and brought her some kefir and said, I think you should maybe have a glass of this, that she started to feel better, and she became totally evangelical about it. You know, she literally healed herself with kefir, and so much so that she then never went back to her city job. She started this great little company called Nourish Kefir. It's completely authentic. They've grown, they've got lots of different varieties now. They do flavoured kefirs, which my kids really like. fermented with real kefir grains. So that's, you know, you want the real deal. This is also something that I really like. This is their Madagascar Vanilla one. So that's a really nice one. And they also do kefir made with goat's milk, which is really good. And they've given us a Liz Loves discount, by the way. Shouldn't forget that, should I? So Liz Loves, in capital letters on their website, gets you 10% off. And if you want to try making your own, they have a really easy way of doing it. So it's a bit of a cheat, but I really like it as an extra. They sell starter cultures in little sachets like this, and it's powdered, so they have their own real kefir grains, and then they can freeze dry them to make little powdered sachets like this, and so that's a double set. So, you know, that will make 2 lots of kefir, 2 batches. And I take this with me when I travel, and hopefully we're going to get back travelling soon. But, you know, if I'm travelling away from home, if I'm going to stay with a friend for a weekend, or maybe I'm travelling overseas, I'll take these with me. And one of the first things I do when I get somewhere new is I make a batch of kefir. And actually, a lot of people do that who are seasoned travellers, you know, people who are used to travelling in developing countries or going to places like India, which is, you know, known for maybe giving you traveller's tum. And the first thing they do, I know foreign correspondents who do this, they will either buy some plain live yogurt as soon as they get there, made with local milk, with all the local beneficial bacteria, or they'll make a bit of kefir using local milk. And the way it works is when you make it, you put it in a jug and you mix it up, and you're getting all the airborne yeasts and airborne bacteria, the good guys, are then using the cultured milk products and the grains to then ferment this amazing liquid. So coming back to diversity, the reason why it's good to make it in different places is you will get different strains of the beneficial bacteria from wherever you are. So even in different parts of the UK, but, you know, especially if you go abroad. So really interesting, I think, to have some of these and to make them up wherever you are. They're also quite a nice mild flavour. I'll come on to just a second how you make it with grains. But this produces a really nice palatable kefir. So it's quite a kind of good introduction. If you've not made it before, you know, grab yourself some of these, and it gives, you know, full instructions on the pack on how to do it. And there's also a whole kind of written guide as well. So it's pretty foolproof. There, tells you all about it, okay? So that's with Nourish Kefir with Deborah and her lovely British brand, another female founder to shout out to. Couple of questions I can see coming on that. No, there are not many calories in kefir. I mean, but calories don't count anyway, remember? So yeah, you can make it with whichever milk you like. So absolutely, if you've got goat's milk or sheep's milk, you can make it with that. Do you need to use an animal milk? That's a really good question. To make genuine kefir, yes you do. And the reason for that is that the kefir bacteria, the bugs, they grow by digesting the lactose. And the lactose is the milk sugar. Anything ending in O's is a sugar, like fructose in fruit, sucrose, the refined sugars, and lactose, which is the milk sugar. So you need the milk proteins and the milk sugars to make genuine kefir. And there have been clinical trials that show that if you make it using an animal milk, so cow's milk, goat's milk, sheep's milk, camel milk even, you know, people make it with all sorts of things, then the proteins that wrap around the beneficial bacteria actually enable it to travel further down into the digestive tract without it being really broken down by all the stomach acids, which are so strong. So you can buy, you know, plant-based kefir, as I say in inverted commas, but the purists get really cross about this because they say you're not getting the beneficial activity. So fine, you can call it a probiotic drink because it will have some activity, definitely, but you can't say it's as beneficial as kefir. So I'm always really careful not to try and upset anybody when I'm talking about kefir, that yes, of course you can make it with, you know, almond milk, It's not milk. You can't milk an almond, you know, almond water or almond juice, whatever, or soya or coconut or any of those things. And you will get a probiotic action, but you won't get the full kefir effect. Okay, so I did another podcast actually, I don't know whether you can find this one, Martha, testing you today, with an American called Julie Smolensky, I think her surname is. She was the founder of one of the biggest kefir brands in America, and her parents, who came over from Russia to America, they smuggled in some kefir grains. They brought them with them, and they are, I think, they're certainly reputed to be the first people to have brought kefir grains into America, and they still use, you know, products that have grown from that original set. Because basically, once you have your grains, and I'll talk now about the actual grains, I think I've unfortunately used up all my grains. I think I used them up for my filming for this morning, but I'll show you what they look like. So yeah, they basically grow. So they look a little bit like cottage cheese, and you can buy them online. Now, a really good place actually to get them is Freshly Fermented. This is a really nice British company. They sell everything to do with fermentation. So you can buy Scobies for kombucha, you can buy water-based kefir grains, you can buy turmeric starter bugs, you can buy buttermilk and sour cream and creme fraiche and all of those lovely things that are fermented, plus all the jars and all of those things, you know, really good. So I work together with Freshly Fermented, putting together, we call it the Good Gut Box. And actually, if you've got this, this is my e-guide, A Flatter, Happier Tum. I just printed this one out, but it's an e-guide, so it's a download. Highly recommend that you get this if you haven't already. It talks about lots of different probiotic things. And in fact, I've just noticed at the back is a link to a lot of the podcasts. So if you've got your download, you'll see that there are links to, gosh, I'd forgotten, I've done so many podcasts on gut health. There's IBS and digestion. So if IBS is an issue for you, you definitely want to listen to this. That's with Laura Tilt, who's a proper dietitian. Then I've got Fermented Foods with Ursula Barnes. She used to have the Good Mood Food Cafe, so she's really, really hot on all her foods. Gut Health with Professor Tim Spector, of course. You've got to have the original king of gut health research, so I've podcasted with him. Talking about intermittent fasting with Max Lowry, that's also really good for supporting gut health. Gut Health for Kids with Lucinda Miller, she's a great naturopath working with kids. And then Gut Friendly Kefir with Deborah Carr. So these links are all in this e-guide if you've got that one. But I'm just having a look here to see if I can show you what the Good Gut Box looks like, because I linked up with these guys last year because I was getting so many questions about, you know, where do I get the best kefir grains? How do I know what my, you know, kombucha Scoby is like, and how to keep it healthy and to make kombucha? So we have the Good Gut Box. So we'll pop a link up actually. It will be on, if you're watching me on Instagram, go to my bio where it says Linktree. If you click on that, you'll see all the little links, and the Good Gut Box is part of that. I know, Martha, you can pop a link up, can't you, for our Facebook friends? And obviously, if you're watching me on YouTube, then go to Earle Wellbeing, because you'll find all the links there. We will put as many as we can in the little URL link below for those who are watching on YouTube. But gosh, there's just so much in here. Actually, you guys, you have to download this, okay? Flatter, Happier Tum. So much about kefir, how to make it here, the ingredients, the recipes, the frequently asked questions, all about children. Yes, you can give children kefir. There isn't a set dose. I've seen there have been some questions about, well, you know, how much kefir? Well, it's like, well, how much yogurt do you want to eat? You know, I mean, I have a glass about that size every day. Sometimes I throw it into a smoothie if I'm making a smoothie. Sometimes I'll just have it on its own. Sometimes I'll pour it over granola. You know, lots of different ways you can use it, but it's not an exact science. It's important to have some. Some is better than none. So if you're brand new to all of this and you've never treated your gut bugs to some extra probiotic goodness, maybe take it slowly, because you can get this thing called SIBO, which is where you get this massive explosion of gut bacteria, good gut bacteria, but your gut becomes kind of quite extended, distended and bloated. So if you are not eating fermented foods or having lots of plain live yogurt, you know, take it slow. Just have a spoonful, you know, just have a tablespoonful, and then just work up, build up. Be guided by your own body. We're all different. All our microbiomes are different. That's the really interesting thing. You know, we are more diverse in our microbiome than we are in our cells. It's really extraordinary. All these trillions of different bacteria that scientists are just beginning to unravel. How they affect our mental health, how they keep us slim. Really important, you know, for weight loss, our microbiome, so important. And of course, immunity. If you've ever had a course of antibiotics, for example, you will have disrupted your microbiome and killed off a lot of the good gut bugs, as well as obviously the pathogenic, the bad ones. So this is a really good time, I think, to start experimenting with, you know, getting into a new season, spring cleaning. We can spring clean our bodies on the inside as well as, you know, spring clean the outside, or spring clean our cupboards. So yeah, I would definitely suggest, if you haven't downloaded this already, then do download it, because there's so much in there. And there's also links to a lot of the brands that we have Liz Loves with. So a lot of the discount codes, for example, for a lot of the supplements and different things. So definitely worth getting. So in your Good Gut box, you will find kefir grains to get you started. And also, if you don't want to do the milk kefir, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't want to, then you can also do, or maybe you want to do it as well, you can do a water kefir. So this is what the water kefir looks like. This is my water-based kefir. Okay, so if you can see, if I give it a little swirl around, hopefully you can see those grains. That's what the kefir grains look like. And this is something that you can make with water. You can use coconut water. So it is just a non-dairy option. Now, a word about lactose. So I talked about if you are lactose intolerant. Well, most people who are lactose intolerant can actually drink kefir, interestingly. So the reason is that I remember interviewing Julie, the American kefir queen, and she said in their research that kefir, even kefir made with cow's milk, was around 99% lactose free. And the reason for that is when you add the milk to your kefir grains, you leave it overnight to ferment. And in that process, those hungry little kefir grains munch up all the lactose. That's what they use to grow and to produce all the beneficial bacteria. So it turns out to be very low sugar and almost entirely lactose free, because the bacteria have digested it all for us. So that's why it's so well tolerated by virtually everybody. So give it a try. You know, again, if you're lactose intolerant, try it, but just try a spoonful and see what happens. You know, gauge your reaction to it. And you can try making your own. Obviously, you can buy shop bought. So in your pack for the Good Gut box, you get your kefir grains, you get your water kefir, you get a Scoby. So different types of probiotic drinks. So now we're moving on to a different territory here. This is my Scoby. Say hello to the ladies and gentlemen. This is my Scoby here that's growing. It's a living being. It's growing. It's growing in a mixture of sweetened tea, so black tea, sweetened with sugar. And again, this is really an interesting thing, because when you buy kombucha or make kombucha, this, again, the beneficial microbes in the Scoby are growing and producing good probiotics using the sugar in the sweetened tea. So again, when you make it, you think, oh my goodness, this has got so much sugar in it. You know, this is crazy. But then you leave it. This takes longer. This takes a good couple of weeks, really, to ferment. But by the time that has happened, your Scoby has eaten all the sugars and turned them into good gut bugs. So it's a really low sugar drink. So you can buy, for example, this is a British brand that I really like. This is called Mighty Brew. This is one of theirs. It's Sencha. They do this one, Sencha. They've also got this one, which I really like, which is lemongrass. And I've been to see these guys. They are just great. They're the real deal. They started off brewing kombucha in their kitchen, in just kiln jars and giving it to family and friends and all of that. And then, of course, it grew. And they now have this lovely little farm warehouse unit where they grow huge Scobies in like 1,000-litre vats. And the Scobies are like, you know, this big. It's amazing. Anyway, They also have Liz Loves, by the way. If you want to try them, then they have a good discount. But actually, what I like about them is it's live, it's real, and I've actually grown Scobies from my bottle of Mighty Brew because it is the real thing. It's a really, really good brand. But if you want to make your own, if you want to buy a Scoby, so this Scoby, for example, came from Freshly Fermented. This was part of my Good Gut box. So when you get it, it comes in a little pack like that, Freshly Fermented. So that is your Scoby. So the pack that I've put together has got, I think, 6 really special different fermented things in it. So if you're going to do your gut program, if you're going to get on the program, or just go to earlewellbeing.com, you can see all about it. There's lots about gut health on there. Get yourself going with a bit of fermentation for spring. Get your Scoby on the go. That will take a couple of weeks to produce a really delicious drink. Overnight, you can be making your kefir, your water kefir and your milk kefir. Then you can also make buttermilk, cultured buttermilk. You get a little sachet of the starter culture. You get a little starter culture of the organic creme fraiche, which is so good. You know, if you're planning on a nice apple crumble or something at the weekend, then you can use that instead of cream. So it just actually, you know, gives you some gut bugs. Does the Scoby stop growing eventually? That's a really interesting question. I asked that very question of Peter, who is one of the co-founders at Mighty Brew, and he said no, they keep theirs virtually forever. They're like old friends. They just add to them. They just get more and more and more. Amazing, isn't it? I feel really guilty because I've thrown out Scobies before. I thought, oh, maybe you've passed your best. Time to have a new one. But no, apparently you can keep them going. I mean, obviously, you know, it's a common sense thing. You can tell if they're mouldy. You know, if they start growing green whiskers and, you know, smelling really bad, then you know. But, you know, Scobies, you know, they smell good, they look good, they're just sort of, I mean, they are slightly weird looking, aren't they? They look a bit like alien creatures, but there's lots online about them. You know, you can look up lots of YouTube videos, all that kind of thing. Oh, there's a kombucha in Lidl. Interesting. Very interesting. You need to make sure that it says on it that it's raw with live cultures. Okay, it's a bit like when you buy yogurt. You've got to make sure it says live because that's the good bit. You know, I think a lot of companies are just creating kind of commercial products and they're not live, they're pasteurizing them. So, you know, that's just killing it. That's just killing the bugs, the good gut bugs. So make your own or just make sure that you read the labels really carefully. So in addition to those, you also get the Turmeric Bug Starter. I'm going to be doing a separate, I'll probably film it for YouTube actually, a separate session on my turmeric gut bug drink because I made that on this morning yesterday, but it was really quick and a lot of people didn't catch it. So I'm going to refilm that and just do a step by step so you can see exactly what goes into that. But you can also get from this, in my Good Gut box, you get the organic turmeric bug starter, which is really fun. And it's a bit like a ginger beer plant that you can keep it. So you can keep it and keep going. So I don't know whether, if you were kids, whether you ever made ginger beer, but that's, you know, you can make it from a real living thing. And again, that's fermented. That's got the good beneficial bacteria in it. And then last but not least, you also get your yogurt starter. And I know we've had lots of conversations about this before because it's so easy to make. I will show you my yogurt. You know, rather than spending lots of money, where is my yogurt? Has it all been eaten? Oh, no, I've got some here. You know, rather than spending lots of money on commercial yogurt, which may or may not be live, and when you buy it, it always comes in plastic pots, which then, you know, allegedly get recycled, or they may end up in landfill or whatever, but, you know, you've still got a lot of plastic in the environment. So this is from my yogurt maker. So this is quite a firm yogurt. Can you see? It's got quite a firm consistency. This is the Bulgarian yogurt version. If you go online to order your Good Gut box, you'll be presented with 2 choices when it comes to the yogurt. So for this one, you need a yogurt maker because it needs to be warmed. Okay, so you can buy yogurt makers on Freshly Fermented, or you can, you know, get them online. They're not expensive. They're a really good investment because you get the little jars. It means no more plastic. Really good. And you never run out of yogurt because if you've got milk, just overnight, you can make a fresh batch of yogurt. So if you want that one, that's the Bulgarian yogurt. And honestly, the reviews on this have been amazing. People have said this is the best yogurt I've ever eaten. You know, if anybody has tried the Bulgarian one, please let me know, because it's, you know, it is really, really good. In fact, it's reminding me to make some more of this. And once you've made one batch, it just keeps on going. Okay, so you don't need to keep rebuying it. Once you've made one batch with this, what you do is when you get to your last jar, is you save a spoonful and you add it to your milk to make the next batch. So as long as you save a little bit from your jar, you can carry on. So it's really economical, really good for our gut bugs, and no plastic. So really good for the environment. Now, if you haven't got a yogurt maker, or you want to make a thin yogurt, then you would want to choose this one. Okay, so that's the organic Villi yogurt. So the Villi yogurt is, I forget where it comes from. I think it might be Dutch. But it makes a really nice thin pouring yogurt, a bit like a single cream consistency. So you could add that to cereals, you could make smoothies with it, you could just drink it on its own, you could sweeten it with berries, you know, you can do so many different things. And the nice thing about this is that you can make it wherever. You don't need to heat it up. You literally just stir the powder into some milk and that's it. You know, it's super, super easy. So, you know, students, for example, you know, back at uni, then this could be something really economical, really easy. You can make it in your room. It's just, you know, something simple to have. And again, keep a little bit to make the next batch. That's all you need to keep it going. So anyway, so that is the freshly fermented Good Gut box. I highly recommend it. Let me know, send me pictures. You can just tag me, LizEarle on everything. And yeah, they can be reused. They are just amazing. Once you've got your initial set of ferments, that's what you need to get going. Then you can just carry on, and these things go on and on and on, and they are just so beneficial, and my kids love them. You know, it's a really easy way. As I say, you don't have to give anything up. You're just adding a little bit of this in. So different bacteria. So your Scoby is fermented, and so this is having different probiotic activity, different strains from your kefir or your yogurt, which are cultured. So it's about diversity, you know, it's about being multicultural. We want as many different strains and as much different diversity as we can, so that we can really help to populate our gut. Anyway, lots more information in the Good Gut Guide. If you want this, by the way, this is the book that always sells out. We try and keep it in stock on Liz Earle Wellbeing website, and it just goes all the time. But we do have a few, not many, but we've managed to get a few from my publisher. And I am signing them at the moment. I've got them down here on the farm. So if you want your copy, I will sign it and send it out. And there is an offer where you get your 3 little notebooks, the Liz Earle Wellbeing notebooks that we've had printed exclusively, with positive affirmations on them to remind us. And these, you can buy these separately if you want, by the way, guys. These are £7.50, I think, for a set of 3, or they are completely free with any book from the website, including Good Gut Guide. We've also got, I think, Yearbook 2, although that is selling fast, I have to say. And once that one's gone, that is really genuinely gone. And also Good Menopause Guide, obviously. Anyway, I just mentioned that in passing. A couple of other things that I really like. I hope you've all entered the competition, by the way, to win loads and loads and loads of free water kefir from Agua de Madre. How cool is this? I love these girls. They are a group of women in London, in Hackney, and they are making this. It's kefir cultured, fermented in pure filtered water with organic cane sugar. And this one is flavoured, listen to this, organic figs, organic lemon, organic ginger and natural fruit extracts. And they say that in here there are 55 billion live cultures. 55 billion. Isn't that amazing? Not million, billion. I mean, I can't even imagine 1 billion, let alone 55 billion. How did they count them all? Anyway, so it is very fizzy. You've got to keep it very cold and don't shake it. Otherwise, it's always good when you get a bit of fizz because you know that it's active. But this one, this is very low alcohol. You can't say it's alcohol free because it's fermented. So it's 1.2%. Okay, so be careful. Really good for teens. you know, gets them off the alco pops and all of that. But just be careful if you're dealing with somebody who shouldn't be having any alcohol at all. Kombucha is fine. Kombucha has no alcohol, but the kefir waters can start to ferment. So, but very low. Okay, so as I say, this one's 1.2%. This one's the same. This one I really like. This is really pretty. This is Pomegranate and Hibiscus, and you can see that fizzing up. So if you want to enter the competition, I think, Martha, do you want to pop a link up on Facebook? Literally, you just pop your name in. That's it. And I think you win something like, I can't remember what it is actually. It's a year's supply, or it's loads of it anyway. So, and if you want to buy it, then you can buy it with a 15% discount. So if you want to get cases of it sent, you know, for summer maybe, now that we're allowed to gather outside, it'd be a good little, you know, evening accompaniment. What I try and do is drink less alcohol. So I serve something like this in a wine glass with lots of ice. I have a glass of wine later on as well, but it just kind of makes me pace myself a bit. So yeah, anyway, Agua de Madre, check them out. We'll pop links up on Instagram. Those of you who are new to Instagram, welcome. I know I picked up lots of new followers after being on this morning, yesterday. I can't do links on Instagram. That's the frustrating thing. So what I do is I put it in my bio. You'll see a little thing of blue type that says Linktree. So if you go to that, we try and keep that updated with all the current links, because as you will learn, there are lots of Liz Loves offers, okay, that get you discount. But there's also links to things like podcasts and recipes and features and all of that stuff. Facebook, of course, much easier. We can pop links up. So yeah, so if you want to win, what do we win? How much do we win? I know it's free to enter. If I click see more, oh, I don't do that actually. Maybe I'll go on to Earle Wellbeing onto the website and have a look. Where are we? Oh yeah, there's also a free offer, by the way, for the magazine. We don't have many left. You've heard me talk about this lovely British beauty brand called Angela Langford, and they have a really delicious body wash called Dream a Little Dream, and it's worth £16.50, but they've given us some for subscriptions, which is really nice. So yeah, if you want to grab that while it is still going, please do, because last few remaining. If you're not a subscriber, you can subscribe to the magazine. You get, I think, 6 issues for the price of 5, plus free UK P&P, so it's a really good deal. And at the moment, you get that free body wash as well. And you can also do it as a gift subscription, so you could keep the body wash if you wanted. Right, now, where does it say here? So I'm looking here. This is my website. And I will go to, so many discount codes, oh my goodness. Here we go, 3-month subscription of water kefir from Agua de Madre. Oh, we've got several competitions online, that's good. So that is 3-month subscription. Wow, okay, so you get 2 bottles delivered every fortnight for 3 months. So great, and all you have to do is just enter it. There we go. It says Agua de Madre's water kefir, suitable for vegans, contains the same amount of live cultures as most milk kefir. Interesting. Fermented in London, wonderfully sophisticated, organic, low sugar, sparkling, lovely. Really good. Okay, so yeah, so don't miss out on that, because you've got to be in it to win it, obviously. The other area of discount, which I'm just being asked about here, which I can see, is Mighty Microbes. I talked about these before. This was a really interesting family brand, not far from me, down in the West Country. They're a farming family. And we know that the soil has its own microbiome, and a lot of beneficial bacteria and microbes come from the soil. And they have been growing soil-based microbes and putting them into a range of microbial probiotic products for a long time, really successfully. So this is the one that I've been taking. It's actually empty. I finished it. I really like it. And if I look at this, it says it contains 15 families of bio-live cultures, including Lactobacillus casei and Lactobacillus plantarum. It also contains premium L-glutamine, that's interesting, ingredient, which we'll talk about in the future, herbs and minerals for digestive health. So, and it says here, this is a bit of the sciencey stuff, which I quite like. It says, Living Health in a Bottle. BioLive is brewed to 3.2 pH. Okay, that's the pH. So the bacteria survive stomach acid. That's really important because a lot of the probiotic supplements that you might take or drink don't survive the stomach acid. So it says it's fed with malt extract. In the fermentation process, all sugars are consumed. It's magic. So this, you take 1 tablespoon for an adult daily before food, so on an empty stomach. I think these liquids are always good first thing. Some people take Simprove, for example. That again is on an empty stomach first thing. Children, 5 to 15 mils. And no need to refrigerate it. I actually popped this in the fridge by mistake, and I put a picture on my Instagram, and I had a message from the founders saying, don't refrigerate, because that, you know, the bugs don't want to be refrigerated. They want to be kept like we do at room temperature to keep them alive and keep them living. So really interesting. And in fact, when you look at, I don't know if you can see here, but the label, oh my goodness, huge amounts of beneficial bacteria in there. So yeah, so Microbes, that's spelled M-I-C-R-O-B-Z, Microbes, clever. They've given us 15% off. No, they've given us 10% off everything on their website. They've got really interesting probiotic cleaning products as well, which I'm going to talk about actually in another live in a few weeks' time, because I think that whole thing is fascinating. So yes, I'm now moving on to, so I started with this one, BioLive Revive. They said this was a good one to start with, just to kind of repopulate your gut, to get your good gut bugs thriving. And I'm now moving on to this one, which is called BioLive Gold. So this one has in it slightly different strains of beneficial bacteria with various interesting herbs and juices and minerals. This has got added minerals in it. That's quite interesting. So let me, ooh, nice little bit of fizz as I opened that. So, smells good. Smells sort of slightly cidery. So there we go. They say that the ferment and the sediment is good, little flakes and sediment, because that's actually the good gut bugs. So you want that, so don't think it's gone off. Nice. Very nice. Slightly kind of apple cider vinegary. Ooh, Agua de Madre online. It's not too acidic, they're saying. It's full of lactobacillus. Interesting. Nice to have you online, and thank you very much for your competition prize. I hope lots of people enter that. So yes, lots to talk about, but I think the key thing here is just to get going. You know, even if it's just a spoonful of plain live yogurt, just start. You know, and obviously I've got lots of resources. As I say, I have some of my good gut guide books. That's got the 6-week plan in it if you want to follow that. There's also the download, so that might be a good starter guide. So lots of resources and links in that. It's called A Flatter, Happier Tum. I think it's $4.99 on Earle Wellbeing. But there's also lots of free information. If you go to my website, lizearlewellbeing.com, you'll see there's a whole section that says healthy gut. And if you click on that, you get lots and lots of recipes and ideas and videos and all sorts related to gut health. And, you know, this is a subject that's not going away. So I think the sooner we all get our ferments going. By the way, just a quick point. If you're in your kitchen and you have got your Scoby and you've got your turmeric gut bug and you've got your kefir and whatever, keep them apart. Okay, bit of social distancing needs to go on with your ferments, because apparently they can kind of cross-contaminate, and it's better to keep them in isolation, or at least a little bit further apart. Don't just kind of stack them all up together. So that was a little tip that I got from a fermenting expert. So you learn something every day, don't you? I love all this. But what I really love is the way they work to improve not only our digestive system and sort out lots of digestive issues, but also just to improve our mood, our mind, our emotions, our sleeping pattern. They help to keep us slimmer, fitter, our immune system strengthened, so many things. There's just so much research going on and on and on. So excellent. Yeah, lots and lots of nice comments and hearts. Sending you lots of hearts back. A couple of quick questions before I go. Talking about, can you make kefir with coconut milk? Yes, I hope I've answered that. You can, but it won't be quite as effective. Is kefir okay with histamine problems? No. So that is a key thing. Fermented foods, all fermented foods are high in histamine. So if you're somebody who is histamine sensitive, then be careful. You don't want to have anything fermented. You can have supplements that are histamine friendly, because it's really important to protect your gut bugs, obviously. And I think we have some listed in the Happier Flatter Tum. If not, they're definitely online. If you look up histamine and gut health on LizEarleWellbeing.com, then you will see that there are some that we have specifically pulled out as being good for those who have histamine issues. Can't find it initially here, but yes, really important to check that. And there is a fix, there is a workaround. Okay, so you don't have to totally miss out. Okay, lots of chat here going on about Amino Slim. Yeah, I took mine this morning. I definitely think it works, but if you listen or re-listen to that episode that I did with Zana, was it on Friday, Good Friday? It's very specific how you have to take it and use it. So it's, you know, it's a key. I think it's really, really interesting and really beneficial. Can exercise alone get rid of belly fat for menopausal women, says Jane on YouTube. No, is the short answer. And I'm actually going to be recording a podcast with Michael Gary, who is one of the fitness advisors for Liz Earle Wellbeing. And he is very clear on that the majority of belly fat actually lies on the table. It's what's on your plate. And exercise will help speed up the metabolism for sure. And there are certain things that we can do to help, but it is not the answer. And interestingly, talking to the cardiologist, Dr. Asim Malhotra, who was on my podcast not that long ago, he was very clear about it. And his view, if you follow him, is that actually the food industry have really tried to deflect away from so much of the damage caused by ultra-processed foods and refined carbs by making it as if, well, you know, you're overweight because you're not exercising, you need to get out more and move more. He said that does not work. Okay, it's what we eat. But there are other things that can help. So exercise, obviously really important for overall health, for metabolism, for muscle function, for muscle mass, bone density and strength, all of those things, really important. Not to mention mental health and mood and emotion and all of that stuff, flexibility. So yes, definitely we should be doing it, but don't do it thinking that it's going to be the be all and end all when it comes to getting rid of tummy fat. So it's what's on the table, but also do take a listen to Zana Morris talking about belly fat and why Amino Slim works to particularly target this area, because it's also hormonal and it's to do with growth hormones and it's to do with estrogen and that whole middle-age spread thing that happens from perimenopause and menopause. So that's a whole other area, but I will definitely revisit this because it's such a hot topic, isn't it? You know, we all want to have a flatter tum, which is actually why this e-guide is a happier, flatter tum, because it's all about getting rid of bloating and helping trim up, using little hacks like our microbes to help us. Oh, Karen on Instagram says she made the lemon tart from the magazine. It was delicious. Oh, that is such a good recipe. Such a good recipe. Actually, I wish I hadn't mentioned that now because it's really making me want to have a slice. This is also from Instagram saying, so interesting to listen to Zana Morris. I also want to say how helpful she is with replying to messages and great customer service. I now fully understand whey and casein difference and start taking my Amino Slim tonight. Well, that's great. So you don't say who you are, but that is really good. I'm very, very pleased to hear that. And we do have the discount with her brand of supplements are called Strong Nutrients, and we do have Strong Nutrients. Let me just find them on my sheet here. 15% off everything on Strong Nutrients. But I know the Amino Slim was running out of stock, and I did message her saying, you have saved me some, haven't you? Because last time I talked about it, I didn't have a chance to go online and buy any. It had all gone by the time I finished my live. So yeah, I think her things are very good. Right, I had better go, hadn't I? My goodness, I will be back. I'll be back on my stories. I will answer more things. Georgina says, so admire how you make time for fitness. You look amazing, such an inspiration. Well, thank you. I will take that compliment. Thank you very much. I don't have a huge amount of time for fitness. I genuinely don't. I wish I had more. But I've learned that small pockets can make a big difference. Small pockets, like 10 minutes, 10 minutes. I try and do something every morning, first thing, and I try and do it on an empty stomach. So that fasted exercise, I think, for me works really well. Helps give my metabolism a boost. And, sometimes I'm literally still in my pajamas. I don't put on any gym kit, nothing. I've got an exercise mat in my bedroom, which I use so I don't slip on the carpet, but sometimes I don't even bother with that. I just do some squats, super easy, do some push-ups, a little bit of stretching, and then off I go. I mean, if I've got time to do stuff later on, then I will. But, so often it is just that. So, and I just think little and often. And I think finding all these different hacks, putting it all together, the gut health and the estrogen and the mental health and the low sugar and the higher fat and the high intensity and a bit of amino slim and a bit more magnesium. I mean, it's all these little things which I have personally discovered have made such a difference to me. And, I am fitter, happier, more sorted in so many ways in my 50s than I was in my 40s, big time. Definitely, physically, I'm more toned, I'm in better shape, I've got some muscle definition, I've got more energy, I've got more stamina, I've sorted out my sleep. That's really important too. Anyway, I won't burble on because I've been going on for so long now. It's really nice to chat to everybody. I am back. So today is Wednesday, so we've got a brand new episode of the Earle Wellbeing show going out today, my podcast. We have got tomorrow, we've got a brand new film on YouTube, so make sure you're subscribed. Do subscribe to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. There's so much on there, honestly, and there's lots of chat. And I put a new film up there yesterday. There was a new fish recipe that went up on YouTube. So please make sure that you subscribe to that. You can even press the little bell icon so it goes ding when we upload something new, so you'll be the first to see it. And then Friday, of course, I've got my Friday 5. I'll be back here live on Friday. I've got some fashion and some feel-good Friday things to share, so a little bit different. And also on Friday is the newsletter. So anybody who's brand new, please sign up to the newsletter. It's completely free and it's full of good things. It's got offers and competitions and discounts and links to articles and recipes and all of that. But you've got to be in it to get it. Okay, so, and I actually noticed that my email newsletter went into my spam folder because I've done an upgrade on my laptop. And I was thinking, where? I'm sure, I know I've seen it because I wrote most of it, so I know I've seen it, but I don't think I also get it to make sure that, I like to see it get sent out and click on it just as, a subscriber would. And I thought I didn't get it. Anyway, I checked my spam and my goodness, it was there. How shocking. So you need to add it to your safe senders list. And it is completely safe. We don't sell your data. We don't do anything with it. We don't use it for marketing or anything like that. It's simply a way of connecting the community with a lot of the things that we've been talking about during the week. People might have missed something. They might want a direct link to a podcast or something like that. We might have a new exclusive bit of content that just goes into the newsletter. So really worth it. But that goes out every Friday. So if you haven't signed up, you'll find the link on lizzlewellbeing.com on the website. It's just a little button that says subscribe to newsletter. And if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. That's no problem. Promise not to be offended. Anyway, lovely to see you all. Thank you very much for all your hearts. How am I doing with my collagen? Very interesting. Watch this space. Yeah, there will be lots to say about collagen, but you need to get the right one. So much rubbish out there. Anyway, for now, but I will be talking about it. It's going to be a deep dive into that whole thing, so more than we've got time for here. Anyway, lots of love to all of you. Instep on Saturday, yeah, see you there, 10 o'clock. There is some on pre-order, so if you want that from Julie, but it's going quickly. I said to her, you know, what are you going to do? Because you're going to sell all this stuff before you've even, you know, had the shipment in. You're going to be needing to order more. But 10 o'clock on Saturday for the Earle Wellbeing Zoom class with Instep. So yeah, I shall definitely be there. Anyway, I shall see you back here live on Friday, I hope. Have a great few days. Stay well. Check out LizarWellbeing.com. All that gut health stuff. Let me know how you get on. Hope you love it. Start making yogurt. So cheap, easy, quick. Anyway, bye for now. Sending love. Bye. Thank you.